Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? You guys can take yourselves off mute.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. It's actually 4 o'clock. There's only a few of you. Did you guys do the reading from last week? I hope you did. Have you looked at what's due for this week? And if do any of you have any questions? Any questions on JavaScript? Any issues? Anything that seems weird, you're not understanding? No one? Well, I mean, there are only three of you in the meeting, but nothing at all? All right. Well, let me ask each one of you any questions. Um, Alyssa, did you do the reading?
I haven't gotten a chance to yet. I was gonna do it tonight.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, it is involved, and the reason that I actually wanted you guys to get into the at least the reading and not get into any give you any assignments was just to give you enough time to go through some of the material because it's going to start to get hot and heavy. So this week you guys have your midterm project, which you can use your existing project that you did a couple of projects ago, the real estate project, and then build on that one. So hopefully that should save you some time. Since some of this, excuse me, some of the stuff that it's asking, like the HTML, CSS, things like that, are, kind of repeats. Although you may want to kind of spruce that up a little bit, with maybe a couple more, style sheet commands and stuff like that, just to make things orderly and look nice, because that's really all CSS is about, is making your websites look nice. I know that the assignment stated that, you should try multiple mediums to test out your applications. You honestly don't have to. I'm not going to be, looking at it in multiple mediums. I'm not going to look at it on a computer and on my mobile device. So you don't really have to test it with a mobile device. You may want to just to see how the styling um, commands work and how they change based on what the browser, what browser is being used in what device. I think that's pretty cool. Um, and you definitely should do that, but it's not really a requirement. I mean, I look at your stuff through my computer and, browser on the computer. So as long as it works there and it looks neat, your menus look good, the pictures are orderly, um, the commands are there. So I do both. I look at your code, I go in and I look at how you constructed it, and I look at the aesthetics in terms of, how neat it is, how orderly it is, how organized it is, things like that. Because that's what your customer is going to look like. So if you ever have to do a website at some point, or if you already done a website, you're kind of familiar with this. Hopefully you're taking all this knowledge and you're using it to maybe things that you've done in the past and going through and redoing some of that and making them look much better. Kira, um, did you do any of the reading?
No, I haven't been able to yet.
Okay. Okay. Have you had any issues, Kira, with any of the assignments or anything like that? Anything that kind of stood out as, oh man, I don't understand this stuff.
I guess like the overall structure of CSS.
It takes, if anything, HTML is pretty straightforward. JavaScript is pretty straightforward. CSS is the one thing that you have to play around with it. But once you get the hang of it, and because remember, it's got to be in a separate file. So some of the people in the class chose to kind of ignore the CSS file and just put their styling information within the website. That's going to hurt them at some point down the road, because there's some stuff that you definitely don't want to repeat over and over and over again. That's the whole point of the CSS file. It defines what your website is supposed to look in general, right? As opposed to defining the styles each and every time in each and every, circumstance. So definitely go back, reread some of the CSS stuff. I went through the ebook. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing that I thought in there that was really confusing. You just have to go through and try it. You got to go in, like anything else, like driving, your parents can show you how to, drive, and you could sit there in the passenger seat. You could be sitting there 20 million times, but until you actually sit down and do it and read, put in the code, see that some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. And it's always a syntax. It's the reason that usually these things don't work is because you didn't type it in correct. Okay. The stuff works. Trust me that it works. So it's just a matter of doing it and doing it over and over and over again. And once you get the hang of it, you become an expert. And then once you do it this way, trust me, you'll never go back to doing it the other way. Okay. You get that, Kira?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
All right, cool. So again, I encourage you ladies to go back and look at your the real estate website that you did previously and redo that one and make it better, and then keep using that one as you go forward, so you don't have to recreate the wheel each and every time, because it's going to get more and more complicated, and it's just going to take more and more time. So to recreate a new website each and every time, especially for your main project, and that's where you're going to get most of your points from, that's your big project towards the end. You really want to keep working on the one, on the one website. So, and that's the one that you're going to use, hopefully, once the course is finished, to demo to someone, for a job. Or, you could say, hey, I've done these websites, and, you'll have your GitHub out there, and, you'll have it so that, someone else can, you'll give them, access to the GitHub, and they'll able to take it and run it on their website, on their web or their browser, and then see what the website looks like and see that you have some talent. They'll look at, does this person know how to use CSS files, styling sheets? Does this person know HTML? Does this person know at least enough JavaScript to be able to, ask for information, get it back, put it into a website, do the ask for, get email information, store that information, a lot of the basic stuff that you see that users do on the internet. Peyton, did you did you read the stuff for last week?
The YouTube video, yes, but with readings, sometimes as I'm doing it, like as I'm doing the coding, the readings help as I go along, kind of like a trial and error. So sometimes I
Right.
just kind of have the book open while I do it to see. And then, like
No,
you
that's
said,
great.
if that makes sense.
That's exactly the way you're supposed to be using it, because especially the Zybook has these like these sample things for you to try. Definitely try them. Take some of the code that's there, and experiment with it, because that's going to help you remember, okay, well, this project, I need to go in and I need to create an email page, and I need to get some information, like, the person's, name, first name, last name, maybe a state, where they're from, especially in a real estate website, right? You're going to be asking, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a 2-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house? Are you looking for a swimming pool? Are you looking for blah, 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 blah? And you have to get all of this information. And what you want to do is you want to be able to email it to a certain place, right? Which, by the way, you will be doing this later on at some point. So there will be an email address that, you have to email this thing to. And it'll be an email that I've set up, and then I'll be checking to see if you actually emailed it. So my suggestion to you is create something so that I can go in, experiment, and maybe, you can test, or, I'll email something and it'll go to your email address. And then you'll be able to, see, okay, this worked. So I know I've got that down and I've got that licked. So uh, definitely, definitely something that, you guys should do. I see Jun Yang. How you doing? All right, I've been asking everyone,
Yeah.
did you do the reading for last week?
Well,
Were
not
you able
really,
to get
but
that done?
I was too busy last week. There was some part I jumped, but I'm gonna do that this week.
Okay, okay. As I was explaining to the ladies, to everyone else, is that it's going to begin to get progressively harder. So one of the things I wanted you guys to do is do the reading, and I didn't assign anything because, JavaScript to some people, it gets confusing. Although I find it like HTML is pretty straightforward. CSS definitely it's always something that people get confused with, but you got to get used to it. You got to go back, you got to do the sample stuff, you got to try it. And if it doesn't work, you got to redo it, because it's always syntax. It's the CSS is not working on your website or your web page, it's because the syntax is incorrect. So you did something wrong, so you got to go back, redo it, and see where where you went off. So and towards the end, as you get to, this is the midterm project now. So, and it's got JavaScript that you got to do. So you're going to have to go back and reread, plus you got the JavaScript that you got to read this week. Next week, you guys are going to have an HTML, CSS, and JavaScript exam. It'll be mostly JavaScript. So I would definitely go back and make sure you guys, have a good handle on the JavaScript. I think you guys are doing really well doing the CSS and the HTML. Looking at the websites, they look good. Most of them look good. I know some people are actually doing the styles within the web page, but that's going to bite some people in the rear end at some point, because there's something, the CSS files dictate what the styling and the colors and how your website's going to look for all your web pages. So that's where you want to put that in one place, not keep repeating that in each and every little spot on your web pages. It just doesn't make sense to do that. So definitely, try to do that. And the assignment's going to take you guys some time to do. So start early. Start early. Try to get that done early, because otherwise you're going to run out of time. And do you have any questions or anything like that for me? Anything that in the past, anything at all that you got, maybe you guys were confused or didn't understand?
So you mentioned a JavaScript exam uh, next week.
Yes.
Uh, so we're taking the exam during the spring break.
Oh, it's your spring break, so
Yeah.
so I guess it'll be the following week.
Okay, cool.
I'm not, and there's nothing going on during spring break. Trust me, we want you guys to go and have fun.
All right.
But yeah, no,
Thanks.
don't worry about that. You guys are good. So yeah, the following week after that. Any other questions? Anything at all? And I'm glad you pointed that out, Jung Yang. Thank you. Any questions? Anything about the material? Anything you guys don't understand? Anything about the assignments, prior assignments? Anything at all? You guys have been doing fantastic. I love your websites, by the way. love them, absolutely love them. Nothing? All right. Well, start early, get that assignment in, do your readings, and then you know, I guess I won't talk to you next week. Have a fantastic spring break. All right. Email
Yeah,
me.
I do.
Yeah, email me if you guys have questions, okay? I'll try to get back to you within 48 hours. All right? Okay. Take care, guys.
Have a good week.
You too. Bye.